Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes.
Well, that's short.
Hello, everybody.
No
Hello.
politicians were harmed in the making of this broadcast.
No?
My unfinished journey, and we have an artificial being in the chat here. And this is Deep State Annex person. We really need to do something about them.
You can't do anything about the deep state. You know they're taking over.
Now they're hot.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, that was Sage coming back. She's exploring.
Harmonic Command. Hello. And of course, just before we started the show here, I cut my finger, which is just a little tiny minor cut, but it's one of those ones that probably hurt less if I had flayed my finger.
Yep. Harmonica Man, that's pretty heavy to start with. Do you have something you need to say?
Self-help day?
Yeah.
I think it might be better off calling it Stay Off of Twitter Day.
Yeah, well, I think that everyone should take at least a couple of days a month that they just stay away from the internet.
I don't do that. But we're fine now. We're all fine, right?
No, I'm never on Twitter, but Ivy always is.
About the only thing I go on Twitter is that, I post the links for this before because apparently the UK has some ID laws so that people in the UK have trouble being on Blue Sky if they don't send them a copy of their ID. And I can understand why people don't want to do that. That's the reason that I haven't made a new Facebook account.
I did find this thing. The Middle East is done with Benjamin Netanyahu. Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, the UAE, Qatar, or Turkey, Indonesia, and Pakistan, and just told the world that they reject his illegal settlement empire and his E1 and land grab plan. The clearest signal yet that the region's major power see him as a reckless, warmongering authoritarian whose policies are poison into any chance of peace. They didn't issue polite concerns. They unequivocally condemned the entire settlement machine he's running, and outright it rejected the E1 project designed to carve up the West Bank behind. In the carefully worded statement is a blunt message. Netanyahu's maximalist annexation driven an agenda is isolated in Israel and turning even traditional partners against him. Well, it's about fucking time.
Yeah. And the U.S. needs to get on board with that.
Oh, we're backing this asshole all the way.
I know, that's
right
the
up the
problem.
ass.
Well,
we're bosom buddies here with this bullshit.
Yeah, it's the Trump administration that's doing that because, Trump's also trying to be cozy with North Korea.
It's anyone is anyone who's in the pocket of AIPAC.
Yeah. But Trump has scaled back defensive exercises with South Korea. And so, of course, as soon as he announced that, North Korea started firing missiles again.
And of course, there's
not really at anyone, just out into the ocean. But, clearly they're trying to, tell South Korea that, if you don't have the U.S. to defend you anymore, you better watch out.
And there's the whole thing of they're trying to tie the U.S. military with the Israel's military, so there's no way of separating the two.
Yeah, that's bullshit. We should never do that with any country. And, at the same time he's doing this, he's turning his back on, all of our traditional allies. So
Yep.
he's just pissing people off all across Europe. And it's like, why the hell has the war in the Ukraine gone on this long? That we haven't sent some, serious help to them. Again, because Trump admires dictators. So he doesn't want to help Ukraine because he thinks Putin is something he aspires to.
Uh, oh,
My rant shut everybody up this time, huh?
Don't talk about Trump. That will.
okay. We'll
We,
talk about Mitch
we had
McConnell.
this. We had this discussion here. It is talking about Trump. When there will be elections and Trump will be voted out, it will be like okay, now he's voted out. Now we're going to get rid of him. No, you won't get rid of him. You won't get rid of all this scum. It needs to be led for it in front of a tribunal. That is my opinion, because they were
Yep.
too bad, and all the money that was put just from one thing to another, like the money of the USAID, that went all to the billionaires and all these other things. It went all in this all went in the pocket of the millionaires, and they should have to do something like they did in the Netherlands right after the war, that everyone who could not prove that he got his money or his possessions the legal way, it would be seized and gone. So any one of these billionaires who cannot prove that they already had the money that they have before Trump have to give it back with interest, because it's pure theft what is happening. That is my opinion.
Well, there is a
And that's
thin
the
hope.
only thing that works.
There is a thin hope that if the Democrats could win control of both houses of Congress, there might be a way to get him out of office sooner.
Yeah, but then still, then when they're out of office, that doesn't solve the subject. They need to be held accountable. For the first time, this government must held accountable.
Yeah,
Everyone from top to bottom. I mean, not only his secretaries and stuff. Everyone from top to bottom, to also from his secretaries, like Kennedy, like these other bullshit heckseth, from
yeah,
top to the bottom of all the people who enforce it, like all these ICE thugs. They all need to be held accountable, and that needs to be a monster trial, and only that will show that it is better not to do this again,
yeah.
because they
Well,
will get you. That's the only way. And
yeah, but getting Trump out of office is the first step there. Once he is out of office, then they can start opening up cases and start prosecuting some of the people under him.
yeah, but they won't. I bet they won't. They will do it the same thing, just as after Trump won. And they leave everything as it was, like all these stupid laws he made, all these poverty things. It will just stay the way it is. They don't turn all this bullshit back to what it was before Trump. They won't do it.
You're probably
I've
right.
seen it. I've seen it so many times. I've observed this the American politics now since 2000, and it never happens, and it won't happen now. That is the sad thing about it.
And that's the kind of thing that got us Trump in the first place.
Yep.
Well, we have a spotting of Mitch McConnell.
Is he now really dead?
Yeah, look.
No.
There he is, right there. He's raising his hand. He can raise his hand. See?
No, it's a taxidermy job, and they just put a dowel rod in that one arm so they can
Yeah.
lift it.
Mr. Houston,
Quite possibly, because if we go over to show the screen here, we have a time lapse of Mitch sitting there. So there he is. He's not moving for this entire time. You can see it's a time lapse of hours here. It looks like he moved once.
But what they do with
Well-
Mitch McConnell,
Right there. So this is a time lapse of hours, and he's just sitting there, not moving.
Yeah. Also,
what they do with this Mitch McConnell, pretending that he is not dead, or keeping him out of circulation, of whatever.
Well,
He's
here he
also-
is. This is him right here after the whole
It
thing.
is all so fucking illegal.
yeah, at this point, it's like even if he's alive, it doesn't seem that he is capable of doing
No.
his job.
He's almost in a vegetative state, but like I said, you can see on.
Yeah.
Is this broadcasting to your screen?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm seeing it.
Yeah. So
I don't even believe it's real.
this is real, but this is a time lapse of hours of what's going on here.
But
Yeah.
doing this, pretending someone is capable, and it is while he is absolutely incapable of doing anything, that should also be punished.
Yeah, he's obviously not there.
Yeah, and then if he doesn't have full comprehension of what he's voting on, he can't be doing his job.
He's totally incapable.
Hello, look at the trees.
Like I said, he's brain dead.
Just about looks like.
Okay, look at the trees and saying the right and left agree on hating flock cameras, Israel, and data centers. Yeah, the voters on both sides do. Unfortunately, the politicians are not so much. Although, as far as the flock cameras go, as they've been in the news more, over 80 police departments that had ordered them have canceled their agreement with the companies over the collecting the data.
Good.
Yeah, and a number of states are passing legislation about data centers, including Minnesota.
Yeah, they need regulation on that stuff.
Yeah. Well, apparently, it's either Alabama or Louisiana. I forget which one, but the data centers that Meta built down there, they put the generators, they put wheels on them, so that technically they would qualify as being temporary installations.
Yeah, I've heard about this guy. Grok did this bullshit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that exempted them from most of the environmental impact things.
Yeah, they try. my argument is okay. First of all, they have to generate their own, at least a good portion of their own power, or using green energy like solar, wind, whatever. Or they have to be put further out from settlements. So if they are generating noise, is pollution, at least they need to take care of that. Uh, or they have to be far enough away where it's not going to bother people. Well, they need to do something about the cooling instead of going the cheap route of using up areas as drinking water supply. Right?
Yep.
You fix those
Well,
things, okay. You make your data center.
and they can easily do closed loop cooling systems that don't use up the water.
Yeah,
You know,
there are
basically
way
something
other.
similar.
Yeah,
Basically, it's the same kind of cooling system as you have in your car, with the antifreeze just constantly recirculating.
yeah, it's just more expensive to build.
Yeah,
That's usually why they
Let,
don't do it.
let me tell
right.
you something. These data centers need to be stopped totally, because the only thing they do is collecting your data that they
Yeah,
steal with cookies and all these other stupid spyware. What comes from your car? That is the only purpose of this thing, to store your information. It has nothing to do with anything else. I with YouTube, I can understand
yeah.
it. But YouTube has an enormous amount of videos that needs to be stored somewhere. But all these data center are all for data story of your information. They need to be
Mm.
outlawed.
And they drive up electric costs, eat up
Yeah.
water,
Yeah, but that is not
and
even the problem. They need to be outlawed because of the purpose they have.
Well, most they're
eventually
just
the AI is going to try to take all our jobs,
yeah.
and
It has nothing
then
to
they're
do
going to
with
use
that.
the AI to,
It
and
has
they're going to
nothing to.
use the AI to basically put us all in a prison camp and
The AI
monitor us.
the AI is not going to be able to take all of our jobs. It's not capable of doing that. They're going to
It is not.
try, sure, but
It
they're
is
not going to
just
be able
they
to do
have to
it.
store all these stolen this stolen information. Do you know that a car, if you are in a car, that it sends per 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 trip that you do, it
Hmm.
sends about half a gigabyte of data about your driving, where you are, your position, and everything to the how do you call it, to the manufacturer of the car, who
Yeah.
sells that to data brokers.
Well,
Not
that's
my
why
car.
I am happy to have a 2008 that doesn't have that stuff in it,
Never
and
buy
that's
another
why.
one.
Well, no, that's why I've got to make sure that this one lasts for 30 years so that it lasts longer than I do. I've got to make sure that this van outlives me because, yeah, I don't want to have one with any like built-in tracking stuff like that.
There are on YouTube. There are now videos how you can find your the transmitter in your the transceiver that transmits all this data to these data centers, and just remove it. Because when you remove it and you put a bridge in it, then the car computer doesn't notice it. But if you just if you make it like you pull the fuse of this thing so that it doesn't move anymore, then the car says, "Oh, I have a problem and I won't work." That is the stupid cars of now. Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. And that's why. Well, I'm glad that there are people explaining how to, disable that.
Oh, no, not to disable it, to completely remove it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that people don't think a lot about is that your cell phone can be tracking all your movements.
Yeah.
Even if you have it turned off, it can still track which towers you passed near.
Yeah, and that's why you can buy a Faraday pouch and put it in there when you have it switched off.
You
Then it
don't need
can't come out.
you don't need a Faraday pouch. All you need to do is wrap it in aluminum foil.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that'll work.
that's Faraday pouch, and a Faraday pouch is
Right.
looks
Yeah,
a bit better. It
I'm
looks a
just
little bit
saying,
better.
yeah. I'm just saying you don't even need to buy a Faraday pouch. Just, use a piece of aluminum foil. It does the same job.
Yeah, but do you want to
Boy,
buy every time you
boy.
want to, if you want to go everywhere, do you want to rip it in aluminum foil every time? Faraday pouches, you do it you do it in, you close it, and it can't come out anymore. Yeah, and that is the world we live in now. And am I glad I live in a village that is 1,000 years old, and we don't have that shit here. And I drive in an old car. I drive in a 2003 Opel. That's General Motors. Aguila. It is the same type as a Suzuki Wagoner, and it has no electronics in it whatsoever other than motor management, and that is
Yeah.
how it should be.
Yeah.
I have
Well,
to.
that's I'm driving a 2008 Toyota,
You know, I have
and
to
the
turn.
most advanced electronics it has in it is a power door.
No data collection, nothing. You know, I heard of this friend from this friend. He had a new car, and he had to. This thing went in for a service checkup, and they said, "Oh," they called him, "Your horn isn't working." Then he said, "Oh, no, repair it." Yeah, but it is not that simple. It goes through the computer.
Mhm.
What the fuck? It goes through the computer. A horn that is just a break, a contact, a button, and a
Yep.
wire on the power. That's all. Why does that have to go through the computer?
Yeah. Well, and
That's
the other
madness.
thing, is that I don't have any sense of direction, so I need to buy a GPS. And I
Yeah.
had to find a GPS that didn't require a subscription to it. So with this one, it's like it doesn't have any personal data in it. There isn't anything that's keyed to my car or my identification.
But you can also just use an old cell phone with a made up Gmail account, and that's everything. So that you can't connect it to your name.
Yeah, well, one of the cell phones I have, as far as they know, I still live in Michigan.
None of my phones, none of my electronics, none of my computers know my real name and my address. None of them does. I'm very paranoid with where it comes to government surveillance.
Well, people have been telling me I've been paranoid for the last 2 decades, and it's like, yeah, now you're starting to find out why.
Oh, it started with me when YouTube wanted to use your real name,
Yeah, as far as YouTube knows, my real name is Orange Purple.
and my name is Ned McCrant. My name is Ned McCrant, and if everywhere you would where you Google Ned McCrant has a really a social how do you know it? How do you call it?
Yeah.
Appearance in internet.
Yeah.
It has a blog page, and it has all kind of stuff. Ned McGrant does all kind of stuff.
I'm having a problem now because PayPal is asking about an ID, and I wonder how long I can go without giving them one, or if they're going to wind up freezing my account.
I already gave PayPal an ID.
Well, see, I got my PayPal account way back, sometime around 2000. So
Yeah,
at the
but
time,
I can
I
understand
set it
PayPal.
up, I didn't have to give them like a social security number or anything.
But I can understand PayPal because it's a financial institution.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But all the other things like Facebook, they have nothing that there is no legal reason that they should know your real name.
Yeah, well, but the problem with PayPal is that, okay, it's a financial institution and they can't get your bank records. But if you have a credit or debit card through them, they can, that the company that handles the card can wind
Yeah.
up selling your data.
Yeah.
And that includes your data about every place the card has recently been used at. So they can track your movement and know what stores you've been to in the last month.
Yeah. That's why I don't use cards. Only I use my debit card, my direct debit card from my bank, and I just use it in the supermarkets and stuff. And they are, for all I care, they can use that. But all the other payments go through another system that does not have my address, has my identity, but not an address.
Yeah, I don't know how it works for you, Liv, but in the US, even the debit card through your bank is handled by a third party company like MasterCard.
Yeah, and that
So
is,
then they can still get data from that.
yeah, it is now here. Has changed
Yeah.
to our cards is not direct debit anymore. It is now handled by Visa.
Right. And this is the stuff that I've been telling people about for the last 20 odd years, is that they were selling you this stuff as being conveniences. And, everybody kind of walked right into the trap for the convenience, not realizing the drawbacks of, who has all your data.
And that's why I said all these data centers have not don't have the best reasons for you at they don't have the best how you call it purposes
No,
in
well,
mind.
no corporation does.
You know,
Well, the whole thing they're building all the data centers for is just to support the AI. And of course, corporations will use the AI to sort through all that data to, target people, to target particular customers and so forth.
think I think it's the other way around. They have these data center to collect all these data so the AI can learn.
Probably you both way. Probably
Hey,
both were correct.
AIs need to have stuff to learn.
Yep. The other thing they've been doing, and I can't remember the term they used for it, but basically based on that data, that some companies are already charging different prices based on what they can learn about you from your data, including your social media posts and so forth.
Yeah. That's
That,
why
like, if you're
that's why
booking
I am not
tickets
on
for
social media.
yeah, like if you're booking tickets for an airline and they see that you've recently posted something about a funeral, they can charge you a higher rate because they know it's not an optional trip, it's something you have to do.
Yeah. I have one Facebook account under my real name, and it only has some bullshit on it from years back. And I have found out that I have lots of family in the Philippines, and that is everything. I never post personal stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
No, they know
Yeah.
I'm there, and that's all.
Well, I wouldn't bother with the Facebook account, except that I have found Facebook Marketplace to be useful for finding things locally.
Yeah, and I tried it also, but still wanted to know way too much for me. So
Well, that's the problem I'm having, that they locked me out of my old account, and I don't want to create a new account because they're requiring an ID. which they claim is just for age verification. And I'm like,
Yeah, just like all these other things, it is all it is all to protect the children. No, it is all to make to that all that to protect the children is to hide their foul plans they have with it.
yeah, well, and Meta is currently being sued specifically because rather than protect the children, there are court cases because they have been specifically targeting children and all the psychological harm they have caused basically by, pushing marketing, by making children feel more insecure about themselves.
Yeah, but have you heard the newest thing? Trump wants to make a law that the children of illegals are being separated from their parents, children from 12, 13, 14, 15 years. And they know what they want to do with it. It sounds a lot like child trafficking.
Well, if we
And
haven't,
why am I not surprised?
well, we haven't figured out by now that
You mean
because
they want to take those kids and basically give them to crazy evangelicals so that they can be turned into psychological monsters who are the exact opposite of that Jesus guy in the Bible, but somehow worship it anyway?
Or there are people there that we just don't know of yet that are worse than Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein is not the only one.
there's a whole network.
Oh, and it's everywhere. It's even here in the Netherlands.
Well, and
They-
I'm sure that is why we're not getting a full release of the Epstein files.
And you know
Because
what?
I'm sure it has dirt on members of Congress from both parties.
Hello,
You know
Demon
what?
Orb.
All the members of these networks are filthy rich.
Yep.
No, someone as you and I, even if we wanted to be or to do something, we wouldn't get in. A few months ago, they arrested someone here in the Netherlands who also was involved in that kind of shit.
Yep.
Very nice. Yeah, it was not a Dutch person, but it was someone who lived here and who also, and that way they traced back a few girls that had disappeared a few months ago. So this is so bad. You won't believe it. We live in a really fucked up world at the moment.
Yeah, and they are finally getting around to doing an investigation of Epstein's ranch. I forget which state that is now. But it's like, there were a couple of girls that, had filed cases of being sexually abused there 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But
Apparently,
none of the police departments ever followed up on any of that stuff.
apparently that ranch is where the real bodies are hidden. Literally.
Yes, literally, according to some of the women who have talked about it, that they were literally killing people there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking that the accusations that the QAnoners made against the Democrats of say child abuse, I'm thinking that when all this is said and done, Donald Trump will have been sacrificing children to the non-existo who happens to not be the Yud Vav.
It is like this stuff. It is like the drug cartels. If there is a demand, they will provide.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the level that our capitalism has gotten to, that, there will always be somebody to provide for anything if you've got enough money to pay for it.
Yeah. Well, I know for sure that if you try that in Thailand, you get life in prison. And life in a Thai prison, that life in prison that won't last long.
Yeah, unfortunately, the U.S. also has prisons specifically for rich people so that
Yeah.
they can continue to live a comfortable life.
Yeah, but in Thailand doesn't go like that. They just go in
Yeah.
prison. They just throw you in cages and they wait till someone kills you. And I think I don't care. Let them do that.
Yes, you couldn't have back.
So it was 2005, and I think that Mitch Caesar was the longest serving member of the chair of the Florida Democratic Party in recent memory who hasn't basically been thrown in prison. And you had Denise Glasser. Then I remember she was the chairwoman of the co-chair of the state convention. And she was like, I don't want Trump or Epstein anywhere near my fundraisers because those pigs can't keep their hands off people. So people knew even back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I tell you, there are even on these Epstein list. There will be Democrats on it also, all as well.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sure.
But it is the Republicans who want to keep it a secret
Well, that's, the
because
Congress has,
they're people, they're pedophiles. They're not necessary politician. They just happen to be Democrats. Yeah, you find them in every land where you say there are no pedophiles under the Democrats. You can't say that because they're everywhere.
well, that's why I was saying that, Congress has seen the full unredacted files. They've had the opportunity to read it all. So the fact that the Democrats aren't pushing harder for this says to me that probably some of the Democrats in Congress and definitely some of their big money donors would be implicated in this.
Yep, and good.
Well, they all should basically go to jail regardless of party. But
Right.
I do happen to believe that there will be far more Republicans. And you can tell with the statistics on other predators like serial killers. So serial killers tend to have higher intelligence quotients, but Democrats tend to have higher intelligence quotients. That most serial killers are politically conservative and white male Christians.
Yeah, well, that's the one main difference between the Republican voters and the Democrat voters are the Republican voters are loyal to their team and would not push for anyone on their team to be prosecuted. Most of the Democrat voters will say that, yeah, if a Democratic congressman has done something sketchy, he should get out of there.
Yeah.
Which is why we lost Al Franken. I mean, he wound up being forced to resign from Congress because he made a sexual joke about a woman, and he apologized. He apologized to the woman. She accepted his apology, but they still pushed him out of Congress.
Yeah, but that wasn't during the height of the new feminism wave. Yeah. Everyone got party. There was even someone got like Richard Dawkins got his remarks about someone, and it was all based. It was, after all, it was all bullshit, but it was just one of these flaming. Jesus, I don't remember her name.
Well, I wouldn't say it was all bullshit, but it's a change in society. That society used to be more accepting of this. that if you look at, TV shows from 20 years ago, there was a lot of stuff where they were playing sexual assault for laughs. And, people were okay. People thought it was normal.
Yeah.
There's something else to keep in mind about these Epstein files. Even if we got everything being released, that's still not the entire story of what happened. There are still things that would not be in those files.
Yeah. But there were things in those files also about them, bringing in preteen girls from South America.
Yeah.
International child traffic law.
Yeah.
Well, we got stuff in there.
This is all race international.
We had
They
stuff
get
in there
them from
about,
everywhere.
we had stuff in there about cannibalism. Jeez.
And that is also when Trump ends, he needs to go stand trial, and all these, and then they have to open these Epstein files, and everyone in there needs to be addressed. And even if there are good people that we think are good people in, they need to be made an example of, so that people think, oh, we better not do this again. That was also what the Nuremberg trial, the message: don't do this again.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we really need, is to have something like the Nuremberg trial for, all the people that are currently in the administration now and anyone else that's implicated in the Epstein files.
How many people have already died because of the policy, the new policies of the Trump administration? I name only one. They stopped a medicine that helped AIDS patients. They just stopped it. So they condemned them to death. So they're all dead now, and they are responsible.
USAID.
You can say they didn't kill anyone personally. No, but that was also the guys from Nazi Germany. They probably didn't kill anyone personally, but they were behind it.
Yep. Well, I mean, even just, the what's his name, who Trump put in charge of the Department of Health?
Kennedy?
Yeah, but since he has been pushing the anti-vax line, 250,000 cases of measles, whereas, in previous years we had it down to like, 250 cases nationwide.
Yeah,
they have literally multiplied that by 1,000.
Yeah,
and look
and,
at all
and you can say
Oh,
that,
it's always been his bullshit.
and you can say you cannot prove it that he was responsible, but you have the statistics to prove it.
Yeah.
Look at all the food that
Well, I
we've had to
think
recall.
that cutting Obamacare, their low estimates 50,000 extra deaths from losing health insurance.
Oh, did you hear that about the food recalls, that the Taylor's Farm lettuce,
Yeah.
which also supplied Taco Bell and several other
That's
restaurants?
the least of it. There's lots of recalls
Yeah,
of all
but-
sorts of things.
But apparently one of the sketchy things that they were involved with, which they were having a lot of the work done by convicts in Arizona, because the state of Arizona was basically leasing out these convicts to work for various companies.
Yeah, slave labor.
Yep. Well, pretty much, because they were paying them like $4 and something an hour, but out of that, then the prison took out for their room and board. So yeah, basically they weren't getting
And
paid.
the prison is getting money from the state for the room and board, I'm assuming too, because that's how
Yeah.
the taxpayer that's on the hook So that's like a double hit.
Oh, and looking this up, epidemiology, epidemiological models estimate that the reduction in the suspension of U.S. aid has resulted in over 750,000 deaths globally.
Yeah.
Primarily among
And
children.
Nice.
that's only what we have right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
surprised
that's
it's
just an
under a
estimate.
million.
That's just an estimate. So it's probably there's a good chance it's over that.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it's under a million.
And that's well, actually those are estimates from November too. So
Yeah. And that's because Trump, immediately canceled the US aid. So the food that was already set to be distributed wound up rotting in the warehouses.
So we're probably so the real numbers are probably already well over a million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Trump
And
decided
then
that
let's
we're
not
not going to
forget
help these people with food or medicine anymore.
And let's not forget the famine that's coming from Trump's stupid war because U.S. intelligence said no, they don't have the ability to build a bomb. And then BB, I have a musical clip of it from the mid-90s. It's always 3 months away or 6 months away, the bomb.
Oh yes, of course.
Well, not only did they not have the ability to build the bomb, but we already had an agreement with them.
On top of that,
That-
they had a religious fatwa against building one.
Yeah. But we already had an agreement with them that they weren't going to refine any nuclear materials to make them suitable for a bomb.
But
Yeah,
you need
which
lies
Trump ripped
for
up.
to start a war.
Yeah,
Remember?
basically we had the deal. Well, they don't reach to a certain point. The deal would have lasted about 10 years, which would have been still going on now, and then we would have had the option to renegotiate once that deal started to expire.
Yeah. And that's all we had to do was, start the new negotiations to renew it. But
And there
Trump
would-
doesn't negotiate with anyone. Trump is
Yeah.
going to be a bully, and he's just going to use blunt force.
Well, he didn't. Trump would not have had to negotiate anything because the thing would have run right through his entire time. But even with the needing to renegotiate, they would have been perfectly fine with it.
Excuse me. Okay. Can we get on anything? Any happier news going on?
Yes, actually, I was just before the show started, I was watching an interview with Bruce Campbell, and he's doing his own movie
Who's Bruce Campbell?
called Evil Dead, Ash from Evil Dead.
Oh, I never saw one of them.
Yeah, well, you know who I'm talking about, though.
No,
Well, he
no.
decided.
Nope. I'm horrible with celebrities, so
I
I don't
have
know who it
absolutely
is
no
either.
idea. I only know Glenn Campbell though of this song Rhinestone Campbell Cowboy.
Yeah, I'll pull up a
Yep.
picture for all of you who
Yeah,
culturally
other
inept
than
people.
Evil Dead, what else has he been in?
Bubba Hotep. My name is Bruce. But anyway, you know I'm from Evil Dead, so.
Not if I've never seen Evil Dead, I don't.
You people. What am I gonna do with you people?
They're from Evil Dead.
Well, you'll probably have to round us all up one night a week and show us these movies.
You don't like horror
No,
movies.
I
Anyway,
don't like-
that's Bruce Campbell, okay?
Okay.
There's
Anyway,
gonna-
he's
You
making-
introduced me to that anime zombie something or other thing.
Zombieland Saga.
Yeah.
But they have a sequel, and they just released a movie this year.
Yeah, okay. That I'd like to get back to that, the sequel and the movie after
We already did it.
Well, we didn't see the movie.
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
We did the
okay.
movie.
All right, I didn't remember.
I have to check my YouTube account and see if I still have access to that entire series.
But anyway, he's
Or
making his
whether
own.
they deleted it.
He's making his own movie called Ernie and Emma. It looks actually pretty funny. It's about this guy who his wife dies. She gets cremated. She leaves him all these letters telling him, "Okay, do all this stuff after I die, and scatter my ashes in these special locations all over the place." It's basically about him having to go on this adventure or trying to fulfill his wife's last wishes. I remember when I was watching the trailer earlier, and basically he's on this kayak and he's looking around. My wife, I fell out. What? Don't worry, she's already dead.
Those cheap motherfuckers, they deleted that from my account. So I paid for the Zombieland saga, and it's no longer available.
Yeah,
I
figures.
I had to make special boxes for Sloth Girl's ashes. You go to 6 different relatives to complete how she wanted them all scattered. So yeah, Sloth Girl has literally been scattered across 3 states now.
Okay.
I thought it was kind of cool, just, every place that had been a significant milestone in her life. Also interesting that under significant milestones, she didn't count 2 of her 3 marriages. Well, I would feel the same way. But aside from raising kids, I don't really have anything I care about from several of the relationships I was in. I miss the kids. I don't miss the women. Kitty cat. All right. So, Mage, how's Molly doing?
She's doing pretty good.
Okay.
She was wanting to play before the show started.
And how's your story coming? I know at the last movie night you read us a bit more of it.
Yeah, actually coming along pretty well. I actually got almost the entire first opening scene for chapter 13 written yesterday. That's about 500 words. So that's good progress.
Good. I've been doing a lot of research on odd things for mine. It turns out the main character, one of her hobbies was equestrian archery. So now I've got to learn something about horses and archery. I swear I don't pick these things. My characters come up with these on their own.
Yeah.
I had to do a lot of research on archery for my story too.
Of course, in the process, I wind up going off on other tangents and I find interesting things. And it's like, yeah, now I've got to make myself an actual compound bow. And out by where Sloth Girl's son lives, there's a park with an archery range. So I've got to build my own bow and go out and try it out.
I watched a video on how to make your own bow.
Yeah, I found several YouTube videos about it. And fortunately, one of them even offered some plans for one that can be made out of materials that I can easily acquire. And it even included patterns for the cams for it. That was the part that I figured would be the hardest to make, was getting the geometry, the curves of the cams just right. Ethan has crashed out on my foot again. So the kitties are doing better together. There is less hissing. Basically, at this point, about the only time I latch the gate is when they're eating, because Ethan scarfs his stuff in a hurry, so I'm afraid that he'll finish his off and go after her food.
We had a fight with our cat. You know what?
Oh,
It wouldn't let go of the vacuum cleaner. I put the vacuum cleaner on its head, and then he grabbed it and he wouldn't let go. He loves the vacuum cleaner.
That's
Yeah,
interesting. You don't usually see that.
Yeah.
well, a cat that I had years ago, Tasha, when I took out the little hand vac, the dustbuster type thing,
Yeah.
every time she heard me fire that up, she would come running and lay down and insist that I vacuum her.
Yeah.
And I'd
handy.
vacuum the one side, and then she'd roll over for me to vacuum the other side, and she'd roll belly up.
We have a special little cat brush on the hose of the vacuum cleaner, and as now and then we just vacuum completely, and we never see any fleas with them. I think we just vacuum them out.
With Molly, I put her in her crate before I do vacuuming because it scares her. She feels more secure when she's in there when I'm vacuuming.
Ethan's pretty chill about it. Ethan will just either stay laying in the chair, or he'll jump up on the cat tower and he'll just watch me. But he's obviously not afraid of it. He's just monitoring what's going on.
Oh yeah, it was my last cat. He didn't like it, but he didn't flee for it. He just kept his distance. But this one, he attacks the vacuum cleaner whenever he can,
Yep.
and that's fun because he wants to play.
Yep. You need to play with him. You need to keep him entertained. Cats mostly get destructive if they get too bored.
Or they may choose toys you don't want them to play with.
Yeah.
For example, Athena's favorite toys are my feet.
Well, yeah. Again, if you don't give her something she can attack, she'll wind up, practicing on you. Sage has a stick and a string type thing with a little UFO on it that's got LEDs in it, so it lights up as it wiggles around. That's her favorite one to chase.
I have a little ball, like that, from Molly.
Yeah, I've got a ball like that too that I had bought for Sammy's son and Ethan, and yeah, neither of them showed any interest in dealing with that.
I need to get the remote control version so I can control it around. I think she'll like it more.
Athena seems to like teasers that are like dangling from a string on a stick.
Well, when I was living in Michigan and I had, like the whole place was like tile and linoleum, there was only carpet in the bedroom, that I had one of those remote control mice for Sammy's son to chase around.
And right now she's more interested in my sandwich.
Yep. I also have a couple of treat mice for him, that they're just it's basically just a plastic shell with a fabric cover so that you can open up a thing in the bottom, and you can put cat treats in it so that when they knock it around, the treats drop out.
Our cat is totally not interested in cat treats.
I hear purring.
Ethan is particular. There's like only 2 brands that he likes. So the ones that I got for Sammy's son, he doesn't want to eat.
I tried it.
That's one
doesn't
of the
care.
things that, later today, I've got to go out shopping and I've got to get more of his treats because I've been out for a couple of days.
The purring you heard was Athena. She got pretty close to the mic.
Yep. I heard that. Purring
to
is
hear.
always good.
Yes, purring is good.
One thing that Ethan is not thrilled with is that when I lay down at night, Sage is always ready to just, curl right up in the space between my body and my arm.
Athena.
And I don't know why Ethan's that bothered by that because he always sleeps on my legs. But if she's on the bed with me, then he doesn't want to get on the bed.
You are not going to get more moist cat food today because yesterday was your birthday. That's why you got 2 things of moist cat food.
She had a birthday.
Well, she doesn't know it's her birthday, but I do.
Back. Hello. Yeah, I don't have exact birthdays for either one of these guys, but
we late a few days ago. I got an email from the happy birthday with your cat. I said, huh? And then it turns out to be the
microchip.
The company that provides the microchip.
yeah.
They know it. Oh.
I don't know why, but I had arbitrarily decided, well, from the information I got from the shelter, was guessing that Ethan's birthday is probably sometime in November.
I think.
But they don't really know because he came in with like 20 other cats, so that
I think ours
people
is
got him
August
from
3 or
have those
something.
records.
August 3 was it? I think.
Yeah. Yes, you're good. Yeah, if only he would be more chill about me holding his paws so I could clip his nails myself. But he jerks around too much, so I'm afraid to do it, and I have to take him to the groomer to have it done.
No, we don't clip the cat's nails.
Well, again, when I was in Michigan and there were hard floors, Sammyson wore them down himself. But where I am now, everything but the kitchen and the bathroom is carpet. So they don't wear their nails down and they wind up, little needle sharp points when they come to make biscuits. They wind up perforating me.
My cat is an outside cat, and he must be able to climb in trees when he is like chased by a dog or something.
Well, and again, if they're outside, they probably wear them down enough on their own. When I had outside cats, I never worried about it.
Speaking of which, I need a new scratching thing for you, Athena. Do you no longer want to play, Athena?
Yeah.
Hello, Beck.
Excuse me.
Hello.
Hey, Beck.
What the beck?
Help me jump in if you're up for it. The link's in the Blue Sky chat. Or if you need me to send it somewhere else, just let me know.
I need a job that doesn't require me to be up at 5:30 in the morning.
I desperately want a job.
Want to teach teenagers math?
No.
No, because of the teenager part.
Yeah, that's I'm sorry. Teachers are grossly underpaid. Because I can't see realistically anybody paying me enough to sit in a room with 30 teenagers.
I mean, it depends whether they're high schoolers or middle schoolers, because middle schoolers are worse.
Yeah. Well, middle schoolers are just learning how to be teenagers.
And everyone...
Yeah, but here in America, they want the kids just to learn how they will be religious.
No, we're fighting against that.
I hope so.
Yeah, well, they keep pushing things to put up the 10 Commandments things in schools, and so far, most of those laws have gotten thrown out of court.
The 10 Commandments are stupid. They aren't even 10 Commandments.
Now,
Well,
the
and
4 or
the
5
people
of
that
them
advocate for
are...
them don't. Yeah,
Well,
the
I think
people
if they
that
ever...
keep wanting them posted don't even know what they are.
I think if they ever try to do that in the state where I work, I'm going to put... I'm not going to be as subversive as some, but I'm going to put up the Protestant and the Catholic version.
I mean, it isn't even the 10 Commandments, because the first commandment is a statement. It is not a commandment. I'm the Lord thy God or something. That is not a commandment.
And actually, the version that most people know of as the 10 Commandments is not even on the list of what the Bible said are the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, I think there are about 276 or something. I just make something up in the free hand.
Well, there
Don't
was a
forget the
specific
history
set.
of the world.
Yeah, there was a specific set in Leviticus that the Bible did call the 10 Commandments.
Yeah,
And they're
the
not
history
the ones that they usually post.
in history of the world, there was 15, and then Moses dropped one of the tablets.
I find that a very believable history, yes.
More or less, we have a total of 613 commandments in the Bible.
216?
613.
It said
600?
613. Yeah,
Jesus,
613.
I was even at the low side then.
Yeah. 613 laws in Leviticus that people are supposed to follow.
And that's not counting the literally. If you... So, like, there's a whole bunch of precepts in the books known to at least the Christian world called the prophets. So, like when Isaiah starts retching about don't take gifts and bribes and care about the widow and the fatherless. And there's a whole bunch of precepts on how to conduct yourself that are not bad. There's a whole bunch of bad stuff in the Bible, but it's not all entirely horrible. You're talking about hundreds of thousands of sometimes contradictory, sometimes not contradictory commandments or precepts.
Well, and let's not forget the famous scene in the Bible where Jesus flipped over the tables of the money changers and drove them out with a whip because they were trying to profit off religion.
What would if Jesus were really, really real? He's not, but if he was, what do you think he would do to Kenneth Copeland's church? Would it just burst into flames?
I think Pink Song's Funhouse will answer that. And
Oh,
the
hey,
chorus
Jeremy.
goes, "This used to be a fun house, but now it's time to burn it down."
Up.
Well, obviously, religion is just a silly hat contest that just got way out of hand.
Yep, we have
Yeah.
unfinished journey. Yeah,
No, but like I said, the Catholics and the Protestants don't have the same versions of the Ten Commandments.
right.
There's differences between them. So I think if you're in a red state, one thing you do as a teacher is you put both versions up.
Yeah, well, like the Texas law was very specific that it has to be the Ten Commandments out
Oh,
of,
yeah. You
out
can't.
of a certain Bible.
Oh, you have to post that one, but they don't stop you from putting like other.
Yep.
Because there are teachers who put up like the Catholic version, the Eightfold Path from Buddhism.
Oh yeah, there are also teachers who have actually put up the
The
tenets of Satanism next to them.
The 9 Noble Virtues of a Soft True.
And for the tenets of Satanism, as they're listed, are all really good things. Much better than the Ten Commandments, because they're all practical things that help you in real life.
But I
And
think
most Satanism is just atheists taking the piss.
Yeah. I once made one
Athena.
version of the
Hi. All
of
right.
the Bible of what's his name?
My contractual obligation for a cat is satisfied. You've appeared on
George
camera.
Carlin Bible that has only one page and it says "Don't be a dick."
Yeah, you follow the 2 commandments: be excellent to each other and party on.
Yeah, that is Bill and Ted's.
Yep.
It's also good. Be excellent to each other. Yeah.
Athena also says give kitties treats. Athena, you have such beautiful fur. I love the pattern of your fur. Not so much your butt.
Whoa.
I was going to say, I remember you were a small kid and I thought you'd be entirely gray.
Our cat was sitting in the bushes, and I swear it, you couldn't see him. Yeah, I heard him, but we couldn't see him because he is completely camouflaged by his.
Okay,
Right.
well, there you go. We've got Ethan on camera now.
No, we don't.
No.
Now we do.
No, there we are.
Yeah.
Well, but Athena is
He's
trying.
related to Ivy's cat.
Yep.
The cat in the spaceship.
Athena's been trying.
Yep, he has a saber-toothed tuxedo.
Yeah.
His little fangies are so long that when he closes his mouth, they still stick out.
Athena's been trying to get my attention, though.
I once asked people in the side chat what would this cat name be, and someone said 007. So now the cat is named 007, and it's only an animated cat. Well, it is a real cat, but it's filmed and it is yeah.
Bex said his neighbor has a Rottweiler named Athena.
Well, Athena is a Torgie. I've also been reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, where one of the main characters is like a cat named Princess Donut.
Yep. And actually, my avatar picture there, just for a moment yet, that's actually the picture of when I first got Ethan home. That's his first day here. Just as I open the carrier, bringing him home from the shelter.
Athena. I know, I was gone forever. You counted, didn't you?
Yes, you were gone for 3 eternities.
Just how long is an eternity?
In cat terms, it's whenever they decide an eternity is.
Oh, my
In
human
cat
slave is
terms,
back.
an eternity is how long it's been since last time they were fed.
Yeah,
Oh, my human slave is back. Feed me and clean my litter.
yeah. Cat doesn't have owners; he has personnel.
Sage came with an automatic litter box, which was, something I had looked into, but they're expensive. They're like hundreds of dollars.
Oh,
And most of them I don't like because the most popular ones are like fully enclosed. And cats really don't like the enclosed litter boxes. So I'm glad the one she came with isn't like that the top is always open. And one of my concerns with it is I have heard stories about when they have malfunctioned and trapped cats in or even killed cats. So I'm glad this one has an open top so that if it starts moving while a cat's in there, they can still jump out.
That's why I haven't put the lid on your litter box profile, Athena.
our cat has the biggest. It is big, the biggest litter box in the world, because it is the world.
Athena.
It has the
Well,
whole.
you just have to teach them to swim so they can go and shit on another country.
Yeah, but yeah, Europe is big enough. That's the advantage of having an outside cat.
Yep.
Athena.
You never find something of him.
Yep, I saw you, Molly. I saw you when you came in.
Athena. Kitty. I know. You don't like the fact that the human goes to work. But Athena, your food has to come from somewhere. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, it comes from you.
Yeah,
Doesn't
you
care.
just magic it into existence when she needs it.
You're the provider.
And that's how cat brains work.
Athena, you've seen me bring in cat bags. The food bags with your food in it.
Yeah.
I wonder if she thinks I go out hunting for it.
Well, it
Yeah.
may sound stupid, but thanks to some TikTok videos, I start to understand my cat. It has some different kind of meows
Yep.
that have different meanings, and I never noticed that, but now I noticed it.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's something that I've been searching for is, I've been capturing videos that have different cat noises, and now I have to figure out how to spell them from my novel.
No, this one, I don't
Because,
know how to spell it, but I call this cat by doing wow, 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 and then he comes. I learned that from.
Like you
Well,
always
like-
try making.
I'm
you always-
sitting upstairs. The opening of the room of the window is above the room or the window where he comes in. I made the sound. I heard the cat coming downstairs here.
Well, you could always try making the sound into a speech to text thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found those aren't really good about spelling things out that they can't figure out the words.
Yeah, that's because natural language processing is only trained on humans. It's just one of those
Yeah.
racial justice things that needs to be.
Yeah, but the first 2 chapters of my book are primarily this woman having conversations with a cat.
Athena, sometimes I think you just...
'cause basically the book just starts with a stray cat who decides to follow her home every night.
Yeah, getting proper raven sounds is an issue with my story.
Athena, sometimes I think you meow at me just because you're trying to talk to me like I talk to you.
Probably.
like I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
And you don't understand a word I'm saying, but I think you try to engage in a conversation the same way. However, you're meow.
Yeah.
Or meow.
Well, basically, my book
It's
starts with a stray cat following her home, and she decides to keep the cat because it attacks her sister. So anything that keeps her sister away, she is all for.
I mean, if your meow is insistent, that means feed me, or change my water, or change my litter box.
Yep. Well, the woman is clearly queer coded, and her sister and her mother are not at all supportive of the queer people. So she doesn't want to have anything to do with them anymore.
I don't think anyone's had a conversation with your mind. I think the cat sometimes try to have a conversation with me with nonsensical syllables.
Yeah. Well, Ethan does with me every night that, he starts up about his dinner, but he usually starts about it 5 or 6 hours before his normal dinner time.
Well, you've got to remember in cat math, the probability that the cat gets fed is equal to 1, given that they meow loudly enough and often enough.
Yeah. Well, I would think that Ethan would have at least got the idea that it doesn't happen until after it's dark outside, but no.
Well, I think your cats will try to train you, so he's probably trying to introduce a new feeding time. Something you have tried, Athena, on multiple occasions.
You can call the
Yeah.
cat my wow, and then the cat comes.
Well,
And
Ethan
I've
thinks
spelled
that
it out.
Ethan thinks that getting the soft food only twice a day isn't enough, that it should be at least 4 or 5 times a day. But I'm sure he's just priming that if I went up to 5 times a day, then he would insist it should be 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, Athena. Both of us need to lose weight, kitty.
Yeah, Captain is definitely your noisiest one.
Athena, you are the most vocal cat in this house. On the other hand, your friend did come by a couple nights ago. I was not too happy about that because you and your friend keep me up. On the other hand, I'm glad your friend is still around.
Well, he keeps chasing off the black kitty that's outside.
Okay, beyond Goth Boss, I'm not sure what the rest of this name is.
Goth, Bosch, Incarnate?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was having trouble with where to separate to make a word of the end.
Give us back our names, YouTube.
Or Incarnate.
Yep.
Well, let's see. Speaking of...
Cats probably could use telepathy, but, they don't think it's worth the effort. They think it's high time that humans just learn to understand them better. After all, they've been hanging around with us for thousands of years.
What part of meow did you not understand?
And I expect that every time you leave the house that the cats assume that you are going out hunting, and they are just bewildered about the strange things that you hunt and drag home.
I could see that, Athena.
If you bring home anything that they don't identify as food, they're just wondering, why did you bother to hunt that?
I think sometimes they realize some things are for them. And sometimes they think some things can be for them.
Yeah.
Even if they aren't intended for them. Athena, I am actually surprised you have not tried to nap on the new chair at all. Is it that uncomfortable for you, Kate, Athena?
Molly is the official bag inspector when you come back in from shopping.
Yep.
Oh, Athena, I see that tail going.
Well, if you bring home something in a box, they're happy about having a new box to play in. So they're just waiting for you to gut the box so they can have the empty box.
There's something out there, Athena?
Yeah, I had to close the windows because the lawnmowers were here just before we started. And unfortunately, that plays hell on my allergies, so I'll have to keep the windows closed all day unless it rains. And it doesn't look like that's happening today.
I was going to say, we don't need more rain here right now. It's like, I guess, Indianapolis got some pretty bad flooding.
I was seeing that parts of Indiana were getting flooded pretty bad.
I mean, here it's the city I live in.
Brooklyn.
The city I live in is on the high side of the river that goes past it, but it's like there's been a flood warning for like over a week now. I think the river was supposed to have crested yesterday, but...
Are you safe where you are, or is there some danger of your place flooding?
Oh, there's no... It would have to be really bad, I think, before that, like a 500-year flood at least.
Yeah.
Because the river's not... It's like there's not actually a street right along the river.
Yeah.
The closest thing to it is a park.
Well, this whole city sits on a huge granite deposit. So basically, we've got the river running through a canyon, and the river would have to rise like more than 12 feet before it was any danger of flooding anything around here.
I mean, the park usually floods, but it's like hundreds of yards before the park actually gets into like the first street in the city. So
yeah, well, that's the same here. Yeah, the park along the river would flood, but it wouldn't really get up to any of the houses unless it was like 12 feet above the normal level.
Are you sure you really want to take those rocks for granite?
Yeah, that's what the city is known for, and what a lot of the economy here is based on, is mining and refining the granite. All the granite countertops and stuff like that. Yeah, they make a lot of that stuff here.
When I go to apply for a loan, I always take a right triangle with me because they're the only shape that can both sign and co-sign a loan.
Yep. Saw that one.
That was awful.
It's a good math joke for people who understand it.
The only problem is they can go off on a tangent.
Now, I thought a tangent was just a man who had been laying on the beach all day.
Yeah.
Then again, I thought a Pokemon was just a slow Jamaican gentleman.
Pokemon, yeah.
I'll have to try that as an icebreaker next time. All right, I want your name, something interesting fact about you, and your favorite Pokemon.
I don't know enough about Pokemon. I probably wouldn't recognize the names.
I was going to say, I met with my students, but it's not the big thing it once was.
Yeah.
It's still popular, don't get me wrong.
I never liked it, absolutely, because it's just dog fighting or cockfighting or something.
Yeah, that's when I was raising kids.
Horrible, even.
Yeah, I objected to it for the same thing that, isn't the whole basis of this capturing animals and training them to fight each other? And that just should not be something that we were telling kids is okay to do.
I'm not sure if I got that impression from Pokemon.
I just thought it was an incredibly stupid cartoon. The games were okay, but I think they were just trying to find a gimmick around the typical role-playing game
Well, here's your
classes.
potentially lethal pet 10-year-old. Now go run off around and all over the country.
Yep. Yeah, Maya. Yeah, starting this month, we moved from Wednesdays to Fridays. So we're always going to be Fridays at 2 p.m. Central.
Or 3 p.m. the real time.
Central is the real time. It's the balance point of the whole country. You know, Central Time is the real time because I live in the geographic center of North America.
Pretty sure the geographic center of North America is in Kansas.
I don't think so. I'm pretty close to an equal distance from either coast.
Oh, you mean North America, not the United States, sorry.
Yeah, I'm including Canada with that. You know, I'm trying to find that the balance point that if you tried to balance the whole continent on a needle, where would it balance? And I think it probably would be Minnesota.
North Dakota. In fact, there's a little monument set up right there.
Oh, really? Okay.
48 degrees north, 48 by 10 degrees north, 100 degrees by 10 in west.
Okay, so it's the next state over.
Why is someone with a big giant someone on Clapper who has a big giant cross for their avatar is following me? I mean, that shouldn't surprise me much because it's not like I'm doing religious stuff on Clapper.
Yep. Okay, I have to step away for a moment here. So, Mage is in charge until I get back. Well, Mage is usually in charge even when I'm here, but, you know, so you all behave.
All right, quick. While Purple's not looking, everyone write something nasty on the chalkboard.
I may not be looking, but I can still hear you.
Everybody just go quiet now.
Well, I'm just... First of all, it's been a long day for me, and no one wants to hear the stories of a math teacher. Although my students have found out my dead name, and they think they've discovered some great secret.
Yeah. That's lovely.
It's like, I was a journalist. I wrote under this name. It's like, it's publicly available information. The fact that I didn't tell you doesn't mean I was keeping it a secret. It just wasn't relevant.
So what do you do to make it interesting to teach math?
Nothing. I don't want to teach math. I want to teach computer science.
I've forgotten more math than most people in the world will be exposed to.
Okay.
And that also means they've probably figured out I'm trans, which, honestly, if they just asked anyone who was there last year, would have already known, and they just would have told them. It's like, yeah, I mean, like, oh yeah, we found these secrets. It's like, these things aren't secret, guys. They're just not.
Well, remember when he discovered it? Oh, he's the first time anybody ever discovered that.
Yeah, let's see. I'll probably do my stand-up routine tonight. I have to look over the new jokes I've written, see if I can get them to work.
I see a cold or flu. Not sure which. Well, I hope you get the feeling better there, Maya.
Which reminds me, I have to get my flu shot soon. I would have gotten it with the COVID shot, but some part of me says, like, if I get the COVID shot with the flu booster, the COVID side effects will be worse.
the COVID shot just kicks your ass for a few goes and you feel like you have COVID, and then after a few days, you're fine.
Yeah, I usually just sleep it off a day and usually fine by the next day.
I
get them.
yeah, I mean, I got the COVID shot before school started this year, like I usually do. So, because I know it's going to make me sick.
It literally made me have a fever, and it did something to my taste buds, and then it just stopped and everything went back to normal.
I had some like
I
really
had
weird-
this feeling of weird kind of burnt plastic in the back of my throat
Yeah, but
for
the issue is, I'm afraid if I get it with the flu shot, it's going to make the COVID side effects worse.
Yeah. Now, see, the COVID shots never bothered me at all. But Sloth Girl was like that. That, she would basically be in bed with a killer flu for 2 to 3 days after the shot.
I just had like these.
But on
really
the other
weird-
hand, then she never caught COVID. And I caught it several times.
Yeah, I just had these really weird muscle little pains or
Yeah.
sort of pain. I'm not exactly sure.
I
Yeah.
always blame Sloth Girl's son for being an asymptomatic carrier. Because every time I had COVID, it was the week after he had been here.
I don't think it's bad, Maya. The reason I usually get the COVID shot first is because the flu season starts later, and there's almost always a COVID spike about the time people go back to school.
Yeah, I think if I worked in a school, I'd be wanting to keep up on my vaccines.
Yeah. Well, I'm scheduled for my boosters next month.
So I usually get the COVID shot, or usually get the flu shot in October. Because that's about the time flu season really ramps up. Plus, I suffer no ill effects from the flu shot. It's just the COVID shot that does that to me.
Yeah, you get to work around 30 little petri dishes, so.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
my favorite thing...
Go ahead, Porpoise.
My favorite thing was like one time I went into like a urgent care facility, like feeling a little sick. The doctor looked into my throat, asked a few questions, then asked, it's like, "Are you a teacher? Do you work around children?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm a teacher." It's like, "Oh, you have strep throat." I was gonna say I never got that in school, as far as I know, but I get the.
Now, I used to get strep throat every year. And weirdly enough, since COVID started, I haven't gotten it again.
Interesting.
But, I mean, it was something that I was ready for, that every year in November, I would always get strep throat. And now, yeah, the last 5 years, I haven't gotten it. So I don't know if that's something that, if the COVID vaccine helped with that in some way or what. But yeah, I got my flu shot last month, so I was ready for that one.
Also, it's like last year I got the COVID shot later, and I had to take a day off.
Yeah. Of course, a good way to prevent yourself from getting communicable diseases is not to associate with other humans.
That works.
Well, I'd say I spend a lot of my time doing that.
People suck.
Yeah, well, that's why I wish the grocery store would go back to being 24 hours so I didn't have to go shopping while other people were in the store.
I do know one grocery store that's like that still, and I have a hard time believing it because it's like a local store.
Well,
In a small Indiana town, it's like, how are you staying open 24 hours? You are not a chain.
yeah, all the ones around here close at 11.
I mean, I don't blame Walmart and Kroger for closing down because I don't think they were making money. I think they were actually losing money. But at the same time, I really do miss being able to go into a Walmart late at night and
Yeah, that was about the only time worth going into one.
Well, the original idea of stores being open 24 hours was that they were going to have people in there to stock them anyway. So the only difference was having somebody in there at night who could run the cash register.
And here they clean and stock it at Med and Guess. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. Actually, even Home Depot had experimented for a while. They had 3 stores in Minnesota that were open 24 hours.
I don't think Home
Well,
Depot.
that only lasted a less than 2 years, and they gave up on that idea.
Well, Home Depot isn't. I mean, people need groceries all the time.
Yeah, well, people have some emergency repairs, like if a pipe starts leaking or whatever. But I think with Home Depot it was more a problem that customers who are unsupervised have a much higher chance of hurting themselves in there.
I'm trying. Probably. I mean, that's also one where it's catering mostly to like small businesses and do-it-yourselfers who probably aren't going to be out late at night. Whereas Walmart sells groceries, and sometimes it's like you just need, and like over-the-counter medicines, and sometimes you just need those late at night.
Yeah.
The fact that you can go in and get a laptop at 3 a.m. is irrelevant.
Well, I loved Home Depot being open 24 hours, because it's like that was the time when I'd be figuring out and planning my projects. So then I could run out and I could go and, get the parts I need before morning.
On the other hand, the one relic of COVID that's stuck around that I really love is being able to get your groceries delivered.
Yeah. Well, certainly, the shopping online and everything being delivered is the one part of COVID that really has stuck around. Unfortunately, I don't trust them to just deliver my groceries. Part of it depends on what you want to get, but definitely I would not have them deliver produce.
I tried out the whole grocery delivery thing once. It was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sloth Girl was, using it when things got difficult for her to go out without the wheelchair.
Yeah, I can see a use for it if you're not very mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah.
Okay, here's a mystery that I have wondered about pretty much all my life.
Old Man Jenkins did it.
No. But how is it that cat hair doesn't just get on my clothes, but actually manages to somehow work itself through the weave? So that the cat hair is actually like penetrating my clothes?
Listen, that's not actually the cat hair. The cats actually do that as a service for you at night. To make sure you always smell like the cats who own you.
Yeah, well, they could get my scent on. They could get their scent on me without even having the hair there. But, how is it that they manage to actually get the hair to become part of the fabric?
You will never know the tools the felines use. That is not for you to know.
Cat magic.
I guess that's why they need such sharp, pointy claws, because they're very fine needles for them to weave it in at night. They're knitting their hair into my fabric at night while I'm sleeping.
Although, would explain why I found parts of her jacquard loom around the house.
Why you found what?
Parts for a jacquard loom.
Oh. I get it. Probably no one else does. Yeah, you have to know some history and something about older computers for that one.
And the fact that Athena has been earned the moniker Athena Porpoise Feline Software Engineer. Because of how helpful she was when I was programming and doing assignments for my master's degree.
Okay, do you know why punch cards are that size? Because that was the size of the US currency notes at the time. So by making the punch cards that size, they were able to just, use parts that were already used for the bill counting machines.
I think the jacquard loom was built before the US existed. mean, not long before the U.S. existed, but slightly before.
Yeah,
Athena.
but was it actually using? Okay, I'd have to look that up again.
I could be wrong, but I think it was like the late 18th century.
Yeah. I would
Because
have to review the history there.
Lovelace and Babbage were the early 19th century.
Hmm.
Jacquard loom,
Yeah, it was one of the first machines to use punch cards.
1804.
Okay, that was... But it was also not invented in the U.S., so I think that Purple's talking about the first electromechanical computers and the first electronic computers. But did use punch cards.
Yep.
I mean, technically, the player piano used a kind of punch card, too.
Yeah, my
So
grandma had one of those.
Though it was based on earlier inventions from 1725.
Athena. Kitty. I know. Are you trying to nudge the human back to take a nap?
Okay, see, and again, Mage is our token person here again. Mage is our token dog person. Everyone else here has cats.
Yes, and Molly is always having to be just such a dog.
Well, I mean, would you want
Isn't
her,
Molly a dog?
would you
Yes,
want her to be anything else?
Yeah, she's a dog. She's always being just such a dog. Why does she always have to be such a dog?
Well,
Athena's being...
One
Athena,
of Molly's... Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I'm talking to the cat, but she's being very affectionate today.
One of Molly's cats behaves just like a dog for her son.
Is it a calico by any chance?
No, it's just an orange cat.
Hmm.
Just a fluffy orange cat, but he behaves just like a dog for her son and follows him around. And, you know, if he ever goes anywhere and closes the door, the cat is always there screaming for him.
Athena, if we ever got ported to a dungeon-based reality TV show, would I be a member of your royal court?
As long as you keep opening the canned food, yes.
Actually, she doesn't get that type of moist cat food. I get her the Shiba packs, but
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I get from my cats too.
I mean, sometimes I'll get an Iams pack and but it doesn't seem to make any difference to her which for the moist cat food, and the Shiba's just like the perfect portion size.
Yeah, well, that's I get the Iams or the Shiba for mine too for the same thing, and especially with two cats because they always come with the 2 packs together. So that's 1 serving for each of them. And you know, I got lucky a couple of months ago that they were Menards of all places was clearing them out. So I was getting them for 75 cents a pack as opposed to them normally being like $1.25.
All right, I think I have a cat that's very insistent that I go take a nap. So I'm going to head on out.
Oh, fine.
If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Clapper. It's at Mad Computer Scientist 1. Those of you who know about my old YouTube channel, which my students have discovered, well, they knew about it, but because I know about it, I've actually been posting videos there recently. They're kind of dull, but mostly because they're related to the math lessons they're supposed to be learning.
Yeah, I've been watching them. It gives me some review.
Hey, I know they know about it, so it might as well make it dull for them by giving them And let's see, you can also follow me at Mad Computer Scientist 1, and I really wish I could go back to doing YouTube more frequently, but sad thing is, even though I was probably good with doing the T channel, it just got to me. Have a good day, everyone. Be excellent to each other, and so long, and thanks for all the fish.
Ow.
And meow.
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 Yeah, that was it.
Now, are cats always faking an injury? Is that why they're always saying meow, meow?
Yeah, that's like owl. Me is an owl.
Now, see, Sammyson didn't say that. Sammyson just said Mao. He insisted that the E was silent. Ethan just thinks things are okay here. Nothing's great, nothing's bad. All he ever says is, meh, meh.
Well, you have the Japanese as yeah.
What does that mean in Japanese? Yeah.
Meow.
Does it mean anything in Japanese?
It's
Did you know that meow is the Egyptian word for cat? The Egyptians apparently weren't real inventive. Most animals, their name for them is the sound they make. That's why Eeyore is the word for donkey.
Oh, that's possible.
Yeah, so most of the animals they found, they just named after whatever sound the animal made.
what do they call slugs?
Don't know. I was wondering about that too, about animals that don't normally vocalize. And I'm not sure what sound a camel makes. Of course, it's weird that we associate camels with the Middle East, since they originally evolved in North America.
Yeah, but they all died out in North America.
Yeah, so did the horses. Some of the horses moved to Asia, and all the ones left in America died out.
There are horses in the Americas that are native.
Well, not horses as we know them. There were some in South America. But yeah, there weren't any left in North America. Sometime well before the last ice age started, they were all gone from North America.
Yeah, dying out in the Pliocene.
Yeah, I still have trouble, remembering the names and the orders of the Urus. That's just kind of an extension of me having trouble with names in general.
Well, I've been looking into it a lot, seeing as in my story, a lot of the Pliocene era megafauna survive.
Ah,
But if you're wondering what a camel sounds like, there.
okay, so a camel just sounds like somebody with a sore throat that's pissed off. Somehow it seems very suited for camels.
Yeah, donkeys good, camels bad. Cause like camels weren't out in the Egypt or the Holy Land or anywhere near there at all until 900 BCE.
Yeah.
So if you see someone talking about a camel in the Bible, and it's supposed to happen before 900 BCE, that's a indication that that particular part of the story is not, the entire story is made up. And most of the stories, if there's any truth to them, have some things that happened, mainly about the surrounding history, and then less of the stuff about the people, and of course anything supernatural is made up.
Yeah, it shows that it was written well after the fact.
Yeah, well, that's the Old Testament really doesn't say much, if anything, about camels. It talks about donkeys and oxen.
Yeah, there is a part in the Bible that mentions camels, but the time frame that it's supposed to be in, we didn't domesticate camels at that time.
But if you cross a donkey with a horse, wouldn't it be a honky?
No, a donkey and a horse
That
is a
was
mule.
a joke. That was a joke.
Yep.
Honky.
Well, my late fiance's best friend used to call me Saltine because she said I was the whitest cracker she ever knew.
If it,
But, you know, what do you want? I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood. There were like, 2 black families in the whole village.
and when you were growing up, Jews and black people, well, they still get along. But I mean, there was a common enemy, which would be the white supremacists. So Jews and black people in the United States still tend to get along.
Yeah, well, also it was when I was growing up, the people who had been under the Nazis' heels there were still a lot of them alive. That there were a number of adults where I lived that had the serial numbers in their arms.
That actually tends to change the way you treat people. So after the Yom Kippur War, Golda Meir was like, we can forgive you for killing our kids, but we can't forgive you for making us kill yours. And the IDF used to do roof knocking. They would send some white smoke if they wanted to destroy a factory to let people know that they had time to get the fuck out. But you didn't have enough time to get the equipment out. Then that generation that experienced World War II died.
Yeah. Well, it's my father.
And it got more and more toxic.
My father was a World War II veteran. That he was in France, 1942, 1943. So yeah, he didn't talk about it much, but we wound up going to, a lot of his company's reunions. So we heard it from other people there.
And now they want to do the same shit from the Nazi Germany, but in America.
Yep. Well, and that's kind of the pattern. Is every 2 or 3 generations, history repeats itself. Just long enough for the people who experienced it to have died out, then there will be another group who will want to do the same thing.
Yeah, it really sucks, though, that the United States, America always had its 2 racial problems, but at least back in the 30s, when people were screaming, America first, and let's make friends with the bad mustache man, a critical mass of people believed that was a shit idea and put a stop to it.
Well, at the time, A lot of Americans were still isolationist right up until the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Most people in the US were saying that, yeah, we're just not going to get involved in what's happening in Europe.
Well, and I'm so happy FDR was beating the war drums.
Yeah, well, that's why there's a lot of conspiracies that, they knew about the Pearl Harbor bombing, and they didn't give the port any warning because they
They let
wanted
it
a reason
happen.
to go into the war.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's parts of that are credible, but I think the U.S. knew something was up, that the Japanese were going to do some kind of an attack. I don't
I
think that
mean,
they were
but what
prepared
are
for
they?
Pearl Harbor.
But I mean, even if they did, what are they going to do? I don't actually believe that they knew. But I mean,
Yeah.
the Japanese are going to attack anyway.
Well, and if they knew they were coming after Pearl Harbor, they would have warned the base commanders, so that, they would have had scout planes in the air at least to try and spot the incoming threat. So yeah, I don't buy the whole thing, but FDR was looking for ways that he could get the general public behind us joining the war.
Are you so? But that was only out of practicality, because anyone who read Mein Kampf would realize that the United States would get sucked into the war anyway, and that Hitler was a fucking madman that needed to be stopped, and that, the ideology of that Jew or whatever the fuck would just consume everyone until everyone was dead, because no one can match up to a artificial expectation of what humans should be, because all humans are different.
Yeah. Well, that's Pearl Harbor wasn't the first attack on the U.S. The destroyer Reuben James was sunk in October 31st, 1941.
Yeah, the whole
And they
thing
kind of brushed that under the rug.
the whole thing about them of it being intentionally letting them bomb it is because the ships that would be docked there were out doing routine operations or ferrying missions at the time.
Yeah, but none of the carriers were there. It was just the older battleships.
They didn't actually know how important carriers would be before them more.
No, they didn't realize that they were going to wind up playing such a major role. Carriers were generally still regarded, as just operating the aircraft that would, give them spotting and targeting. They didn't really take the planes seriously as a threat to ships. So they knew carriers were important to be there with the fleet. The doctrine of the carriers being the eyes and ears of the fleet. They didn't really see them as fighting ships. Although they'd gotten more serious about that, because you could see that, in the treaties before the war, like the London Naval Treaty put restrictions on carriers. And then it came up again in the Washington Naval Treaty, restricting how many carriers each nation could have. So Japan started getting creative about ways around that. That, like, Japan designed a now I'm losing the term, but they designed a group of ships that they were actually designed as aircraft carriers. And then they had the designers go back, and it's like, okay, if you take the flight decks off and, you change some things around here, can you make it look like a merchant ship until we need it as a carrier?
This isn't a carrier. This is a carry A.
Well, basically, they made them so they could operate as oil tankers until they needed to put the flight deck back on.
Pretty efficient.
Yeah, basically, just what would have been the hangar bay for the planes, they just put a huge fuel tank in there. Anyway, we've run a bit past the 2-hour mark, so
Yep.
unless somebody has a new topic that they want to discuss, should we wrap it up here?
In self-care stuff, I think I have the best invention that ever was made here.
An off switch?
No, I have an off switch for mosquitoes. I love these things, these electronic bug zappers. I already killed like 4 or 5 mosquitoes here, and they all exploded.
Is that like an electric fly swatter or what?
Yeah, it's an electric fly swatter.
Oh, okay.
I've got one of those.
Yeah, we have 4 of them.
I also have this lantern it's also a bug zapper that attracts them.
Yeah, but the problem is always these lamps always break before they can do anything. I mean, I need to put something else
Mine
in it.
isn't broken. It's been working pretty well.
The lanterns with the blue lights, they've actually found don't really decrease the amount of bugs in your yard because the light attracts them. So they have found the best technique is to give one to your neighbor as a gift, so that will attract the bugs into your neighbor's yard.
Well, I'm not putting it in my yard, it's in my house.
Yeah.
You know what the best things is to get rid of mosquitoes.
What?
Is buy a big industrial fan, put it outside your house, put mosquito gauze like this stuff behind it, and let that suck up the mosquitoes. And when you come down to the next of the day, on the next day, and you see thousands of these things sitting there, and you can just wash them off because they're all dead.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They a lot of farmers use them. The other farmers use them at the stables for the cows here, and it works like crazy.
Yeah, I can see how that would work.
They just suck them up, and they suck them with you in these gauze that you put in front of the windows. Put that on the sucking side.
Yeah,
works absolutely.
Well, and mosquitoes aren't very strong flyers. If they get caught in a good wind, they just kind of have to go along with it. They don't have much choice.
And they put them in good in the light though, so the mosquitoes come there and they get sucked towards it. And
yep,
that is one of the most effective things I have ever seen.
Yeah, I don't have much problem with them here. The only problem I have with any bugs inside the house are fruit flies and ants.
Yeah, my little blue light lantern takes care of the fruit flies.
Yeah. Well, a real effective fruit fly trap, real simple, is take a container that's got a good lid on it, and punch some small holes in the lid, and then put some apple cider vinegar and a dot of dish soap and a bit of water in there.
Don't need the water really.
Well, the water just helps make sure that the dish soap disperses more evenly over the surface.
Works. I'd use that trap before. You don't really need the water. It works. It disperses just fine with the vinegar.
Yeah, but I keep a couple of those in my kitchen because anytime you buy fresh produce, you may be bringing in some fruit fly eggs. And I had to make sure that I always pick up the cat dishes right away because I've got some tiny little ants in here, and they had the exterminator come through. I had, picked some up on a piece of tape just to help identify them, and he said, "Yeah, those are pavement ants. You live on a concrete floor. The building's more than 10 years old. They're inevitable." So, he put some stuff down that got rid of them for a year or so, but they came back again.
Yeah, I'm starting to see some ants show up in my bathroom. They haven't been too bad lately, though.
Yeah. Well, mostly these ones seem to love the dry cat food. Although I found a trick for them also that apparently these ones can't stand the smell of citrus.
A
So-
lot of insects cannot stand the smell of that because you
Yeah.
also have these citrus candles and stuff.
Yeah, so what I do for the dry kibble that I leave out for the cats, I just get my finger wet and I get a little dot of the citrus scented dish soap and just put a ring of it around the dish, and the ants don't go in those dishes. But they still run around and they're still, pick up any of the cat food that the cats have, knocked out of the dish. And Ethan is a sloppy eater. I always have to vacuum where Ethan's dishes are because he always leaves little pieces outside. Anyway. So, Commander, you have anything to say before we go?
Yeah, two things. I'm going to try to get up the energy. I keep saying this, to do some content. I'm also dealing with a situation where I thought that I'd have a job by now to be able to help my brother, and there was a possible way for him to get to a place where he could actually have access to public transportation to get a job. He does have $1,300 a month in Social Security, but he wants a job and he is stuck in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what to do. He does want to work and he does want to live on his own, so.
Yeah.
But I just can't get him either the transportation to be able to work where he is, or get him someplace where he can have access to a city bus until he can get a car.
Yeah, that sucks that there's so many places in the U.S. that you really can't function without a car.
Yeah. We're not there yet, but we will.
Well,
Well,
that's
Oh,
one
and
of the
here
things.
in the Netherlands, it's fun too, because you can't just study for a learner's permit and go and take a test and then have someone basically let you use their car. And you can't just take your American license and have it transferable, even though Canadians can do that. And my
Canadians can't do
license
it
is
anyway.
actually, I
Canadians,
thought they could.
no, only people from the Schengen countries can do that.
I can understand why they wouldn't necessarily accept a license from another country. Because if the
And
testing
it's-
standards aren't the same.
And it's like, if I had been able to, because even though like my license is good up until mid-September, and I can legally on paper drive a stick shift. I didn't usually drive a stick shift, so if I had been able to drive a stick shift, I would have had a job.
Mm.
And there's just so many concerns about if I get in an accident or even if someone hits me and it's their fault, what will the insurance companies do? So I'm having the issue with, oh, it costs a fucking fortune to get the license because you have to go through a professional driving school.
Hmm.
And that's just inhibiting my ability to get a job and start functioning more, contribute to the household here, and help my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we will get it. We get. I just asked for state support to get us back on normal income, and that is the advantage of living in a social democracy, that the government helps you, and then we can probably even get assistance for Commander to get her driver's license.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the big things that Mandami did in New York, was he has made all the public transportation free,
Yeah, but
because
then
that was
we
a
have
good way to cut down on the number of cars on the road.
yeah, but that's in the city. We all have a
Yeah.
lot of little villages, and they're all scattered through
Yeah,
and
that
we
makes it a
don't
lot
have
more
bus.
difficult.
We have don't the bus when you have to go to the bus, you have to do on a bicycle, bike, all minimally a mile,
Mhm.
and then they're only once every hour, and to get to work, you have to change buses several times. It is better to have a car here.
I live in the city.
It's not Amsterdam.
Yeah, I live in the city, and the buses here are only once every hour, and
In
pretty much
Amsterdam, you absolutely don't need a car.
pretty
The
much
public
regardless of
transport in
anywhere
there
you go.
is so good.
Yep. Here, pretty much anywhere you want to go on the bus, you have to take the bus to the downtown terminal to transfer to another bus that only runs once an hour.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Depending
yeah,
depending upon the bus route in Hampton Roads, some buses had a bus come every 15 minutes.
well, that's what I was used to before. Was when I first lived in Minneapolis, the buses were every 20 minutes, but over the years they kept cutting them down. Basically, because nobody thinks funding public transit is a priority here.
Well, I think that's also because car companies they bought public transit in order to shut it down
Oh yeah,
in the
yeah.
50s.
That whole business in Who Framed Roger Rabbit is actually based on historical events.
Yeah.
That a lot of cities had really good streetcar systems, including Minneapolis, St. Paul.
The freeway. Why would anybody do something talk to me like that when they can just take the red car for a nickel?
Yep. Yeah, Minneapolis, St. Paul had a really good streetcar system, and they bought it and shut it down. And to this day, some of the Minneapolis streetcars are still running to this day in Brazil.
You know what you should do for just for fun? Look in YouTube for a cab view ride in an Amsterdam tram. You'll be surprised. It is magnificent there.
I wonder how they feel about the self-driving cabs there.
Oh no, they won't go in Amsterdam. Absolutely. No.
Now, only
Okay.
official licensed cabs. They don't even have Ubers. They
Okay.
have Ubers for food delivery, but not for transportation.
Yeah.
Not in Amsterdam, that is, because you have
No, I
you
don't
have
think
to have a
even in this
license.
country.
Yeah, you have them, but
It,
in Amsterdam, you have absolutely you have. If you want to have be an Uber, you have to have a license to do it,
Yep.
because
Well,
it is just Amsterdam is just you need to know what you're doing there, but the public transport in Amsterdam is enormously good.
well, that's
The only
in the
thing you need is a
U.S.
bicycle.
In the U.S., you used to need a special license to drive a taxi cab, and that's Uber
they
was
still do.
specifically. Yeah, Uber was specifically created as to be a technicality around that.
Yeah, but
So
in
that they could give people cheaper rides, but people didn't realize that part of the cheaper ride was not having a lot of the security features.
Yeah, but in Amsterdam, you have this
Now,
special. You need this special permit to be a cab driver in Amsterdam, even if you already have this permit,
Hmm.
because they and
wait,
that's why a lot of cabs, taxi rides to Amsterdam deliver you to the central station, and then they go back home again, because there from there you have to get another taxi or you get a tram. Just like look it
the
up. Look it up. Cab rides Amsterdam tram. Look it up.
Yeah,
It
no,
you
I'll
will love
believe
it.
you.
You will love it. It is so entertaining. Even watching it. It is like you're having a tourist ride through Amsterdam. It is absolutely beautiful.
Okay, well, we were trying to wrap up here. So, Ned, do you have anything else?
Oh, I just said it.
Okay, Mage.
Nope, don't really have much going on. We'll try and go
Okay, still
for
doing
Monday.
movie night on Monday.
Yep. Sorry about missing last week.
Oh no, that's okay. Once in a while it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I just really wore myself out that day and I
Yeah.
totally forgot.
Yeah. Well, and there's no problem with that. If you happen to have a hard day, just leave a note in the chat to let us know that it won't be happening, and you can go to bed early.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just Greg and I had been wondering because you hadn't posted anything in the group chat, so.
Yeah, when you messaged me, I was like, oh crap, it is Monday.
Yeah.
and Mage, when you're doing the movies, please message me, because keep in mind, if you start at midnight, it's 6 a.m. and I actually might be up.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Well,
you're-
generally,
if you're-
Mage puts the link in the group chat for the MidAmerica on Blue Sky.
Are you in the yeah, if you're in
Blue Sky and the Discord, and you have me as a friend in the Discord too. So any of those.
well, if you're in my Discord server, I already have
Yeah,
the
I
link.
am.
Yeah, I have link permanently up in there for where I do it.
I have everything but personal messages shut off because it constantly bleeps and bleeps, bleeps,
Yep.
bleeps, bleeps, and it was driving Ned nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
because I
Discord
never
does that.
and you can never find where it comes from.
Yes, that's what I hate about Discord.
That's
yeah,
why I have every message switched off, only with some exceptions for certain persons.
yeah.
I basically have everything on Discord shut off unless somebody specifically mentions my name in a message.
I even have set that switched off, but because I can't find it.
In my channel, under announcement, and you'll find the link. It's right there. If you're in there, your commander.
Say again?
Yeah, you're in my.
I'm in your.
Yeah, my Mage Media thing, and it's under the announcements section. You can see the link right
Yeah.
there. It was posted on June
And
10th, 2025.
Yeah, I think mostly that Commander was saying that just a link to remind her of the time.
And yeah, and I put the link in Blue Sky each
Yep.
night.
Yeah, but I've done the same thing too about forgetting what night of the week it is. I mean, I know your thing's on Monday, but like you said about some days, it's like, oh yeah, it is Monday. That I easily lose track of that. Oh.
Yeah, the winter season comes on, and the winter season it gives me more time to do something here inside. I wanted to make some new videos, and we have a great story for even a small a mini movie. With
I am still working on that. Perfection is the enemy of finished.
Yep.
yeah, but we have a mini movie about the aliens coming to Earth, and it will be a nice story, and it has a nice clue to it also at the end with a nice punchline.
Wait. So Ivy is going to be the spokesperson for Earth for First Contact?
No. But Ivy will be the narrator of the documentary. It is like in
Okay.
done in the style of a documentary.
Yep.
But it comes with amazing CGI at the courtesy of Commander, and and I'm writing the narration, and it'll be a little bit like in the style of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and it has everything is a little bit intertwined in it, and it will be funny.
Yep.
I will try to get it like a joke every 10 seconds, just like in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Well, okay. If anybody in the side chat has anything they want to post about what's going on, Maya, I know about you doing the Bad Science Sundays. I don't know what else you're doing this week. But I don't have anything else planned right now, so I will just be back here at the same time next week again. And yeah, you were saying about winter gives you time to do things. I still have some outdoor projects I have to get done before winter, which is why I scheduled to do them in June. So yeah, at this point, I'm like 2 months behind schedule.
And if anyone who sees this has a spare room or a couch temporarily, my brother has $1,300 a month in Social Security disability. He will contribute. And on top of that, he wants to get a job and get his own place. But he's not in a place where he can actually get a job because he is literally in a trailer, at least 20-minute drive by car from any bus route.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're not living within the city limits, a lot of times there isn't anything out there. Okay, well, we will see you all.
Contact me if you can.
We will see you all next week. Be gay,
Alrighty.
do crime.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Later.